How to find rent-to-own homes. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 ways to be able to find rent-to-own homes. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Rinde from Ask Rinde. So if you'd like to know how to find rent-to-own homes, and more importantly, how to negotiate them when you find them, please watch the video till the end and leave a comment below if you have questions about anything. So rent-to-own homes are the unicorns of real estate, and that's simply because they are a treasure. You have to dig to find them. Unlike residential and everything on the open market, these properties are all around you, yet they're not easily attainable. And that's simply because of one thing: terms. So there's a process that you go through to be able to get from point A to point B. And many find themselves in this place of, not knowing what to do and really confusion because they know the term and they hear it a lot, but they don't know how to go about doing it. So in this video, I'd like to share with you just 3 ways to be able to go about finding these properties and also touch on the documents that you'll need to be able to consummate and make the deals work. So number 1, the first way to be able to find rent-to-own homes are going to be working with realtors. Now, yes, this is very key, but I'm not just every realtor. Just like everything else, just like in medicine and in every other practice, there are specialists. You want to work with an agent and find an agent that's a specialist or that is versed in this particular part of real estate. Not every realtor knows how to not only find these properties, but also how to negotiate terms. And there are ways that you can do that. There are stages that you can take it through. There are different methods that you can make it a win-win all around for both the seller and the person who owns the property, and also the person who's considered the tenant buyer. You want to make sure that everything is legal and everything is done so that all bases are covered when it comes to both parties, and that you've done your part and facilitated the transaction and made sure that they're all set up to win properly. This goes along with having a network. So that realtor also should be networked where they are connected to people who do credit repair. They're connected to other people who do mortgages. This person should be someone who is well versed in having had experience with dealing with rentals, but not just rentals, specifically rent to own, and how to facilitate that transaction. There are different things that go along with that. There's different documentation that go with this specific type of real estate transaction, and you want to find a real estate agent that is doing this currently in your market. We can share with you that we're here in New Jersey. We actually are very active and we do this all the time, so we're very versed. So if you're in the New Jersey market, you can feel free to reach out to me. My email is askrindenow@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to help you not only find a property, but also I'll help you negotiate and put you in the right standing and in the proper way to be able to get the rent-to-own done so that you're in a win-win situation. You can also register at our website, BergenCountyRentToOwn.com, and actually just put in your preference of what type of property you're looking for. We'll be happy to match make you with that property. So the number 1 way to find a rent-to-own home will be working with an experienced, savvy, and networked agent who actually knows what they're doing and knows how to actually make it work for everyone and all parties involved. Number 2. So the second way to be able to find rent-to-own homes is going to be dealing directly with homeowners. Now, this is actually probably one of the most difficult things to do because it's very time intensive and there's a lot of misnomers, there's a lot of unknowns. So for example, you may actually start out with reaching out to homeowners who may be, let's say, in foreclosure, and you may reach out to them and consider working out something with them. However, there's a chance that they may respond positively. There's a chance that they may respond negatively. You're really not sure. And in addition to that, you need to be able to have the quality data to be able to reach them. So having the idea and the thought is one thing. Executing and getting it accomplished is another thing. This is one of the reasons why so many investors and so many people turn to people like us, real estate agents, to be able to source this, because it's very time intensive, it's very boots on the ground, and it also comes with knowing the area and knowing people, connecting. There are people who actually are going through different things. As we know, we've gone through a series of problems with this pandemic, and there's a lot of shakeup that's coming. So there are going to be more people who cannot afford their home, and there are also going to be people who may be wanting to keep the property but not wanting to let it go. So there's a lot of different variables, and then also there's a lot of different makeup of families. So there's going to be a tremendous need for this. However, there are many people who don't know how to go about dealing directly with the homeowner. What do you say? What are the scripts? How do you actually go about negotiating with them? How do you make them feel comfortable? How do you make them see what you're looking to try to do? And not only that, how do you make money? So there's a process that you go through when you're looking to try to deal with homeowners directly to be able to facilitate consummating a rent-to-own situation. How do you find the tenant buyer? Are you the tenant buyer? Are you going to be facilitating and taking on that responsibility, or are you going to try to get someone else to do that, and how are you going to make money? So when you're reaching out to homeowners, there are a lot of things that you need to be aware of. Their frame of mind, what their options are. You want to be versed in what their options are realistically based on the situation that they're presenting to you. Some people have gone through many losses, not only financial but personal, and you want to have options, and you want to have a range of resources to be able to give them to make them feel comfortable with you to move forward with a transaction. So reaching out to a homeowner directly is for someone who's experienced. It's for someone who really knows what those options are and has the book of resources to be able to give them, has the experience to be able to share with them what has been done, and also references. Many people want to be able to see others who you've worked with and basically have that comfort level of knowing that they're working with someone who may be versed. And those things come with being established, having time put into the business, and also being networked in the area. You also can get referrals from people locally. So talk to people, start to hand out business cards. If you are an investor, if you're a real estate agent, or you're a wholesaler, you can start to talk to people and basically share with them that this is what you do. Hand out your business cards locally. Real estate is a local business. So while you can actually do things on a national level and on a regional level, it's best to start out locally. You can start out simply by marketing yourself and actually seeing what comes back. Some people also put out bandit signs. So you may be able to consider doing that if your town will allow it. There's been a lot of changes with this pandemic that has brought changes to where I can share with you the way we've done business in the past. We did door knocking. Now we don't do door knocking anymore simply because it's not safe. So you have to kind of move with the times and adjust. But I will share with you that if you are going to kind of deal with the homeowner directly in order to source these properties, you want to make sure that you're ready and you're going to be able to take this on. You want to be able to refer and have someone that's experienced in your corner so that you are not only versed on what to tell them, how to facilitate it, but what documents. How do you know that this is going to work? How do you facilitate this properly? So if you need help with that, feel free to reach out to us. You can comment below, or you can email me askrindenow@gmail.com. And the third way to be able to find rent-to-own homes will be through divorce attorneys. Now, why divorce attorneys other than other attorneys? There are many other attorneys and categories of attorneys that you can turn to. But I'd like to, for the purpose of this video, share on divorce attorneys. And that's simply because of the makeup and dynamic of a divorce situation. Many times with divorces, it can be either brutal or it can be something very, in the rare cases, where it's friendly. Most times and oftentimes it's more on the other side, which is brutal. There's a separation, a world, and there's a lot of animosity. Sometimes there's children involved, and many times the subject property is actually at the center of it, what to do with it. Now, while this is all going on and all hell is breaking loose and war is happening, the property has to be maintained. Utilities have to be paid. Municipal responsibilities are there, and more importantly, the mortgage has to be paid. So what oftentimes the divorce attorneys are there to do will be to basically guide the process. You know, these people are versed. They've done a lot of these. And they know that the animosity and all those things lead to a certain point. There's a very painful situation going through divorces. However, their job is to basically make sure that things are done properly in their client's best interest. So many times they'll recommend certain things. If the property is going to be sold, sometimes it's not immediate because, like I shared, there's a lot of things that are being worked out. So other things that have to do with the children, separation of other assets maybe, other things that connect those two people, it takes time. So oftentimes they may decide to rent the property out in the interim while they're deciding on when they're going to sell. And this makes it a perfect scenario, a perfect situation for rent to own when the attorney presents it this way. So divorce attorneys are a really, really good resource to have relationships with, because simply they can actually refer you as a source and as a solution to their client. And many times they are looking to try to see how they can get help. Remember, their job is to help this client facilitate their divorce and also come out in a better standing. With that being said, many times the ties that bind these people together are not easily severed. So it takes time and it takes a resolve to be able to have a strategy of approach of how do you deal with that as you go along. Because like I shared before, if it's not quick that everything is severed and the property is not sold overnight, then what happens is that who's taking care of the debt? Who's taking care of the mortgage? Who's taking care of the water bill, the sewer bill, the utilities, the electricity bill? Who's taking care of the ground maintenance? landscaping, all these things. So the divorce attorney wants to make sure that there's some semblance and there's equity intact while this is being facilitated. So if you are a source for that divorce attorney, that can be a non-stop source of business for you, where you can help many families go through the process and still actually end up making a lot of money. So divorce attorneys are actually a very good source if you'd like to get more details and scripts on how to actually contact them, what to say to them, how methods we use to be able to reach out to them that are unique, both online and offline. You can feel free to reach out to me. So these are only 3 of the ways that we use to be able to source rent-to-own homes. I'd like to share with you many more. So I'd like to invite you to our masterclass. We're going to be doing a rent-to-own masterclass. And in that masterclass, I'm going to be opening up the veil and sharing with you many more ways to be able to source rent-to-own homes. In addition to that, I'll also be sharing with you and touching on the documents that you need to be able to facilitate this transaction, such as rent-to-own documents, land trust documents, memorandum documents, and many more. So if you'd like to actually attend the masterclass, please feel free to click the link below and register today. Just sign up, put your email in, and register today to be able to start the process of learning how to actually source rent-to-own home. We're going to be going more in depth, in detail, and I'm going to be showing you some unique things about rent-to-own and specifics about real estate and how to actually spot them. What sources and where you can look off market where there's no competition, where you can actually find them right online, right on Facebook, right on Instagram. These are sources, and these are all around you where you can actually source these properties. And keep in mind, rent-to-own is its own world. These are all off the radar, and these are all based on terms. So you really need to be versed on those terms, how to actually approach, because it can be a very lucrative position for you to be able to get involved in this business. Keep in mind, if you're actually on the investment side and then you're looking to try to facilitate this, unlike a regular normal real estate transaction, which has 1 profit center, rent-to-own has 3 to 5 profit centers. So this is a very lucrative part of the business that's untapped. And I can share with you that with many people consolidating and moving into homes as opposed to apartments, you're going to find a plethora of people who are really looking forward to having home ownership and having the beginning of that process, starting down that road, even if they're not in a position currently. So there's a way to be able to deal with that side of things. But I find that there's much more information on how to get tenant buyers. That's what they call them. But there's very few and little information on how to actually get the rent-to-own homes to begin with, which is what you need, because without that, you're not going to make any money. You're not going to have any tenants. You're not having any buyers. You're not going to make any money. So we want to make sure we can help you with that. So I'd like to invite you to our masterclass. Just sign up below by actually clicking the link. And I look forward to seeing you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is askrindenow@gmail.com. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.